Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of Something Something Chat Show where Tom Jr. Jackson presents episode 14 of a very Goof live stream. I am, as always, your host and Emperor Extreme, Tom Jr. Jackson. And it is a pleasure for all of us to have you here talking about our favorite things: movies, movie reviews, streaming, entertainment, pop culture, you name it, we got it. Anyways, let's get right to it. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Lets us know you care. Brings up the shares in the channel. And as always, folks, please check out Positive Fandom, which is run by our favorite moderator, friend of the channel, RM. That's right, folks. RM. She's great on Positive Fandom. She does a lot of cool things like live streams and all that cool groovy stuff. And don't forget tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on the Burn Network, RM and Julian Mushkin are doing their PGS treks live. And speaking of the Burn Network, check out the Burn Network, run by writer, director, producer extraordinaire, all around rock on tour, Robert Marabonette. And for those of you who are members of the channel, there is no members only Zoom call this weekend on the Burn Network. There is no members only Zoom call. I thought I'd let you know. Rob announced this last night during his Robservations. So we got that. So tomorrow, it's all up to you to do whatever you want. And finally, folks, please check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. What is Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster? Well, funny you should ask, because it's hosted by, guess who? Ray Lytle. Ray Lytle hosts the Morning Disaster with his co-host Steve. And how do I sell this show to you and explain to you who Steve is? Well, let me explain to you who Steve is. Folks, have you ever seen the Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids? And there's the character of Mushmouth. Well, picture a Mushmouth, but also someone who likes to admit that they don't shower much, or someone who admits that they love lasagna pans and not just for lasagna. Or imagine someone who gets so high that they get locked in a car for 6 hours and don't bother checking the other three doors. That's Steve. But Steve is a good guy. He's funny. I would advise you not to eat before, during the show. It might get a little sketchy there. I want to say hello to my moderator, Irene Jobson. Always cool to see her. She's lovely. And you can check out her OnlyFans of Cat Butts on Parade. That's right. Chocolate starfish of kitty cats. What else could you ask for? And hello to Cool Gamer. Another thing about Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster, folks. Ray has been doing this for over 30 years. He's a fun guy. And if you go to morningdisaster.net, it'll take you right to the Patreon page where there are tiers that you can join and watch the show. There are 3 Morning Disaster shows during the week that you can watch. They're free. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And yeah, Ray's a cool guy. I really enjoy watching his show. I got onto the show because of the lovely Irene Jobson. She goes, "Come watch this." I go, "What is it?" She goes, "I'm not going to tell you what it is." And it's the most I want to say hillbilly thing, but it's not hillbilly. It's it's an experience. All right, it's like performance art. It's an experience. Uh, let's put it this way. Have you ever wanted to get your gooch blasted? Well, you can actually watch Steve get his gooch blasted at WeContact, folks. That's right, WeContact, where they'll do all the gooch blasting you want and auto detailing as well. Because why not? Because they're mostly primary for auto detailing. Um, and also just beds, because you know what they have there? You guessed it, lamps. No, just beds. Just beds. I think there's a place in New York called Just Lamps. You know what they sell? Just lamps. Amazing. But yeah, Ray's a cool guy, and I know right now Ray is probably either watching or listening or playing this, seeing how I sell the show to you people. And I don't mean you people, you people. I mean you people out there in streaming land of watching this. Um, yeah, it's. I want to say hello to Ray and Steve and Christina, which Christina's got some anger issues sometimes, but they're funny anger issues, and why not? So let's get on with the show here. Remember to check out those shows. And if you do check out morningdisaster.net, tell them that Tom, Junior Jackson sent you, and Irene Johnson made you do it. So let's get on with the show, folks. Today is a great day. It is Friday, Friday, Friday. It's the end of the week. We've all been waiting for this day to come, and it's face, neck, and chest time, because Friday is all over you, folks. Um, let's just see how far I can go with that. Yeah. So what a week. We're already into August. We're like 4 days into August. Where did the summer go? Summer came. Don't know where it went. Went somewhere. Definitely not here. I mean, well, today it is in. Let's check here. The weather today is blah blah blah, and I don't see it on here. So it's like in the 70s, maybe almost 80s, but it's nice and cool and relaxing, and it's calm. And then at night, it's been getting down to 62, 52. 62, maybe 50. By the way, tonight is the final night until next May that you'll see a sunset at 8 p.m. Eastern. At 8 p.m. tonight. Tonight is the final night you will see a sunset at 8 p.m. until next May. Or if the world ends, then we're screwed. But anyways, how are you folks? I hope you are well. Irene says it's 80 here. And Irene is in Georgia. And how she fits inside of Georgia, I don't know. I don't know how she crawled up into Georgia, but I hope Georgia is comfortable. That's right, folks. I am making dirty jokes. Uh, so let's go through what I've got this week. I got movies up the ass. Well, not literally up the ass. That's right. Thomas Bartholdi is in Australia. No, Arizona, and his heat, his weather has been like 100 all over day and that night. You don't want, there are places where the water is like 90 degrees when you go in. It's like bath water. And it's good to see Thomas as always. And it is Friday, as I said. I believe there might be a midnight musings tonight. I'm not that quite sure on the network, but I do know that there is no members only Zoom call this weekend because Rob has said so. So there's that. Yeah, it's been a busy week. I went to the um, diabetes nurse. Everything's looking good. We just increased the pill to 2 at night, 1 in the morning. But I'm doing good. I'm still here. I got some movies this week. I got One Crazy Summer, and this is from Warner Archives. One Crazy Summer it takes place in the summer, of course, but it takes place on Nantucket Island. It's a very funny movie. It's John Cusack. It's Bobcat Goldthwait. It's Curtis Armstrong. If you don't know who Curtis Armstrong is, Curtis Armstrong was in Moonlighting. He was in Revenge of the Nerds. He was Booger in Revenge of the Nerds. He was in Risky Business, which, by the way, watch Risky Business with Tom Cruise because it is a great movie. It's very funny and it's a good movie to watch. But One Crazy Summer, oh yeah, Demi Moore is in this, and she sings and she plays guitar. And Mark Metcalf, who was Niedermeyer in Animal House as well, he's in this, and it's a great movie. It's about a cartoonist who is down on his luck with love, as always, and he ends up he graduates from high school, which is called Generic High School. If you watch the movie One Crazy Summer, the name of the high school is Generic High School. And they graduate from there. And at one point, how everybody throws their caps up in the air. Well, someone throws their caps up in the air, and I never noticed this till the other night watching it. But there's a guy that gets a cap in his back. Like the cap just stabs him in the back. It's very funny. But One Crazy Summer is a great movie. There's a great joke in it about making faces. That if you make a face at someone is going to come up from behind you and smack you on the back, and your face will stay that way forever. That's all I'm going to say about that, but it pays off really well. It's very funny. Yeah, Demi Moore sings in this film. She's a really good singer in it as well. This is one of the movies that John Cusack doesn't really talk about that much because he had a falling out with the director. The director's name was Savage Steve Holland. And this movie came out in 1986. But it is a great movie. It's very funny. It's the second movie of Savage Steve Holland. The first movie of Savage Steve Holland is with John Cusack, and that movie is called Better Off Dead. And if you've not seen Better Off Dead, I want my $2. Better Off Dead is a great movie. It's actually a great double feature with One Crazy Summer. Better Off Dead is about a guy who's in high school and his girlfriend dumps him and he feels his life is over. So he feels that he can either try to win her back or kill himself. And there's a great line in this movie where he tries to kill himself, and these two black men say, "Now there's a waste of a perfectly good white boy," because he falls into a garbage truck. But it's a hilarious movie. It's really funny. Diane Franklin is in it. Diane Franklin, who was in uh, Last American Virgin, I think it's called. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. But it's a very funny movie. I think Dan Schneider is in it as well. If you don't know who Dan Schneider is, he was on. I think yeah, he was on. What's that show? He was on. I want to say Head of the Class, and he also created a lot of Nickelodeon shows like Good Burger, all of that, The Amanda Show, until his downfall. So I definitely check out Better Off Dead. And as always, check out One Crazy Summer. Two very funny movies, great movies to watch because who doesn't love John Cusack? He's a great actor, very funny. Um, yeah. So there's that. So I got those two movies, and then I got another one, and this one is called Moving Violations. And Moving Violations, and this one's from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber. Yeah, and Moving Violations stars Jennifer Tilly, James Keach, Sally Kellerman, who was the original Hot Lips and MASH, and Wendy Jo Sperber. And the main actor in this movie is John Murray. John Murray is the youngest brother of the Murray brothers. And if you don't know who I mean by the Murray brothers, we're talking about Bill Murray. That's right. John Murray, who is Bill Murray's brother, is in this movie, and he sort of plays the role as if his brother was in the film. He does a great impression of his brother almost in it. So it's about these people who um, get sent to night school, traffic school, and the cop that has stopped them has got screwed over, and he is demoted and made to run the night school. And so this cop thinks, well, if I'm going to have to do this and get demoted, I'm going to screw these people over and make sure they don't pass. But Moving Violations is from the creators of Police Academy. It's one of the guys who wrote Real Genius wrote it, Pat Proft. And it's a very, very funny movie. That's right. Hit the like button, folks. Why not? Hit that like button and subscribe. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's very funny. And Robert Conrad, who was in the original Wild Wild West show, is in this film. And he's only took the role in this film because he turned down doing Police Academy. He was going to be Commandant Lassard. So yeah, check that movie out too, and that's from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber. Now let's see here. Do we have any? No, we don't. Okay, so while I'm at it, If you have a letter to write and you want to write in and send us a letter, drop us a line, send a point of view, you can send it here to the show as I pull it up. Let's try this again. There we go. Hello to RM or that's right, folks. She is here. And if you want to write a letter and share your opinion or just have something you want to share with us, send it to our email address on here. And as always, we would love to hear from you. And if I have not mentioned it before, your letter is Z. Thank you, Darth Plato. As always, folks, normally this weekend there would be a members only Zoom call with Robert Meyer Burnett on the Burnett Work. There is no members only Zoom call this weekend. I think they're doing it next weekend. It's because Roberto is going out of town this week and he will not be there to do it. So there is no members only Zoom call. So who knows what's going to happen there. The other movie I got this week was Studio 666. And I watched this yesterday. This is a movie. If you're a fan of the Foo Fighters, this is the movie for you. It's not a bad movie. There's some great cameos in it. Excuse me, I'm itching my back. Studio 666. The main theme for this movie, which I was surprised to say, was composed by John Carpenter. John Carpenter did the main theme for this movie, Studio 666. And he also is in the film playing a recording technician. And Studio 666 is about the Foo Fighters, and they're going to film their 10th album, but they want to go somewhere different, and they're sent to this house. And the house they go to turns out to be a house where years ago a band called, what was it, Dream Wizard or something like that played, and they ended up the band itself ended up getting killed off. One of the people in this film is Jenna Ortega from the Wednesday, and she said the Scream films, and she's playing Lydia's daughter in Beetlejuice 2. But it's a great film. It's going to be a cult classic. There's some killing in it. It's humor. There's some great music. At one point, Dave Grohl is possessed by a demon, and he goes, "Guys, I've heard this. I figured out. I'm unblocked. I can do this." And the chord for the song is an L chord. And they're like, an L chord? What happened to, ABC, HIJK or something like that? And Dave Grohl goes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I don't really give a flying horse's ass of what you think or whatever it is. But it's very funny. And the murders in this film are great. Good gore. It really is a cult class. It's going to become a cult classic one day. But it's a great film. The Foo Fighters in it. They're funny. Pat Smear, who is in the Foo Fighters and was one of the original members of Nirvana, is hilarious in this film. Very, very funny. Highly recommend it if you're into something that looks interesting and different and original. watch Studio 666. The other film I got, it's another film from Warner Archive, and that's Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. And this came out, and I want to say 1964. So next year it'll be the 60th anniversary of this film. Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. And it was done by the people, restored by the people at um, Warner Archives. And it is the first animated theatrical film that Hanna-Barbera ever did. And I love Yogi Bear. It was on sale. I wanted it. I said, why not? Why not? You know. Let's see. What else we got? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out this week. And I love this film. It's emotional, it's heartbreaking, it's funny. It's all the stuff that James Gunn knows how to bring to a film. It's everything that you could want from that, and possibly more. But it's a great film, and it comes with director's commentary, comes with the making of, it comes with some deleted scenes and a gag reel. And yeah, I really enjoyed Guardians 3. And it's funny, I saw this back in May. So May, it's June, July, August, so about three months it took for it to come out. And just so that you know, if you have Peacock, next week Asteroid City hits Peacock. So if you're a fan of Wes Anderson, check that out. Asteroid City. Wes Anderson had nothing to do with Guardians 3. But um, I love Guardians 3. It's a fun movie, but heartbreaking as well. Rocket's backstory makes me tear up. Makes me tear up. And finally, in my haul this week was About My Father with Robert De Niro and Sebastian Maniscalco. And this is an interesting movie. This is based on his real life. It's based on when he was going to propose to his wife, and his girlfriend then, before he proposed to her, their family invites him to their summer home, and um, he ends up bringing his father with him. He doesn't want to bring his father, but who is brilliantly played by Robert De Niro, and hilariously played by him. And it's a great comedy. It's um, a fun little film. It's a little film. It's fun to watch, and I enjoy it. And Sebastian Maniscalco, it's a stand-up comedian, and just a really fun guy to watch. So that is that with the physical media part of the show. And I hope, RM, you are doing well, and I hope your mom is well as well. So, yeah, I decided to do the show today. Yesterday, I just was, I just wanted to take it easy and relax. And I figured I'd do a Friday show. Haven't done a Friday show in a while. So, I mean, either way, the show gets done, and it's fun to watch. If you missed it last night, RM did on her channel Positive Fandom a watch party for a film called Anthropoid. Anthropoid, yeah. And you can watch that film on Prime Video, and you can sync it up with the watch party as well if you want to do it that way. And it's a very intense film. It's a World War II film, and it goes very well till you get to the last, I don't know, half hour, and then it just gets really dark, really intense, and it's one of those movies that puts you at the edge of your seat. And if you're really into World War II, it or that period of learning into it, it's a good film to watch. It's based on a true story. As a matter of fact, speaking of World War II, I wanted to point out I got some, excuse me, audiobooks this week. And one of my audiobooks I got was a book called, so I can find it here. Just a second, it's loading. It's loading. Okay, it's a book called The General and the Genius, and this is another one of those books that's based on J. Robert Oppenheimer and the General that Matt Damon played in Oppenheimer, or um, Paul Newman played in Fat Man and Little Boy. I have not gotten to this yet, and I will be getting to that soon. I have been listening to the making of another major motion picture. Is that what it's called? It's called, yeah, the making of another major motion picture masterpiece, and it's a novel written by Tom Hanks, and it's a great movie. I mean, movie. Well, it feels like a movie. It's a book, and it's about. Here's the summary of it. From legendary actor and best-selling author, a novel about the making of a star-studded multi-million-dollar superhero action film and the humble comic books that inspired it. Funny, touching, and wonderfully thought-provoking, while also capturing the changes in America and American culture since World War II. And this is a great book. Like part one takes place in 1947, then you cut to 1970, and then it goes to present day, and then you meet the cast, and it's like going through the whole making of a film. Um, but it's done from the perspective of Tom Hanks using what he's been through making a motion picture. And it is so far a great book. It's like 15 hours long, the book, but it's really good. It's really really good, and it's one that I'm enjoying at the moment. And I also got one called Slow Horses, and Slow Horses is based on a show that is on, I believe, Apple Plus TV, and it's with what's his name, Gary Oldman. And the summary of this is: Slough House is a dumping ground for British intelligence agents who who have screwed up cases in any number of ways by leaving a secret file on a train or blowing surveillance. River Cartwright, one such quote slow horse, is a is bitter about his failure and his tedious assignment transcribing cell phone conversations. When a young man is abducted and his kidnappers threaten to broadcast his beheading live on the internet, River sees an opportunity to redeem himself. This seems very interesting, and it's part of a series of books. So this is like book one called Slow Horses, but the name of the series itself of books that they're called the Slough House books. Then I got Timeline, which is by Michael Crichton, which I really like that movie. Um, and I also love the book. So I used to have the book. And I got another one called With a Mind to Kill, and that is um, a James Bond book. It's one of the newer ones, and I can't wait to listen to that one as well. But a great one I got is Scarface and the Untouchable by Max Allan Collins, and it is about Elliot Ness and um, let's see here, um, Elliot Ness, Al Capone, and the Battle for Chicago. So it's done from like the Untouchables uh, perspective, and it sounds great. Yeah, I have a few James Bond books, actual books. Um, and then I got what is it? One called The Rescue Artist, and The Rescue Artist is a true story of art, thieves, and the hunt for a missing masterpiece. And here's the summary. In the pre dawn hours of a gloomy February day in 1994, two thieves entered the National Gallery in Oslo and made off with one of the world's most famous paintings, Edward Munch's Scream. It was a brazen crime committed while the whole world was watching the opening ceremonies of the Winter Olympics in Lillehammer. Baffled and humiliated, the Norwegian police turned to the one man they believed could help, a half English, half American undercover cop named Charlie Hill, the world's greatest art detective. That book sounds amazing. And it's based on a true story. And I didn't know about this. That this happened. And it sounds like it would be a fantastic movie. Um The Rescue Artist is a role-licking narrative that carries listeners deep inside the art underworld and introduces them to a large, colorful cast of titled aristocrats, intrepid investigators, and thick-necked thugs. But most compelling of all is Charlie Hill himself, a complicated mix of brilliance, foolhardiness, and a charm whose hunt for the purloined treasure would either cap an illustrious career or be the fiasco that would haunt him forever. Now, the other day, Mikey Lito said in um, one of the live streams, I think it may have been Let's Get Physical Media. He was like, "Well, what books could be adapted into movies that weren't IP driven or superhero driven? This could be a movie. I would watch this movie if it was a film. Um, yeah, I really would. I would love to see that portrayed as well. Um, so yeah. And then the last one I got was the Spider-Man one called Spider-Man: Craven's Last Hunt, and that is with a full cast. It's like an audio drama. Um, I can't wait to listen to that one as well. But I do like Timeline. Yeah, all kinds of historical events. I think that when you can take uh, a book that maybe deals with historical ramifications and you put that into a film, I find that fascinating. I think finding something that is not IP driven, um, it's a gamble. Yes, it's a gamble, but I would like to see something original. As much as I love my superhero films, I think the hardest thing to get made nowadays is something original, like Oppenheimer. That was an original film, and there were some people that said, "Well, I don't feel it. It's not my kind of thing. This is okay." But it's an original film. It's about an original, real world history defining moment. Um, and there are people that have seen it two, three, four times. Um, there are people that are doing the Barbenheimer, the Barbenheimer experience, where you're seeing Oppenheimer and Barbie back to back. So you'll see Barbie first, which is 2 hours, and then you stay at the theater for another 3 hours and watch Oppenheimer back to back. Um, yeah, I think there is a yeah. I think that movie is called Mona Lisa. I think that's with Bob Hoskins. I think so. Yeah. Um, yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Like a lot of good books out there that could be adapted, but you have to find the right person that could get the tone. And even if you could get a person that could get the tone, you gotta wonder, is there an audience for it? Like there's a film out there about the finding of Richard the Third's body, which I would love to see. Make your own story universe. You could do that, but there are people who would be like, I don't know these characters. Where's this going? Ugh, excuse me. It's an interesting thing to do. Um, and again, it's another hard thing to do because you got to put, as Robert Martinet would say, you got to put your characters first before you create your universe. So you have to come up with that story, and how will the story connect to the next one or the next character, and where would this all go? It's uh it's all very interesting to the picture. I mean, I don't know how they do that at Marvel, how they plan everything out in advance and how they go, okay, so this beat's going to go there, here, here, and here, and it's going to connect to this, and this. You know, um, I would love to learn about that. Uh, excuse me. What else is going on? Yeah, Tolkien did that universe first, but Tolkien did The Hobbit first. and then wrote Lord of the Rings, and then got into Lord of the Rings, and then went back and changed The Hobbit so it would fit in with, oh, excuse me, fit in with Lord of the Rings, so they would connect. Another great show that's out there is, if you have not watched it yet, Good Omens season 2 is out on Prime Video, and I really enjoyed that. It's like 10 episodes, I think, and season 2 of Good Omens has a lot of Doctor Who references and little nods to Doctor Who that I I was like noticing. I'm like, oh, look at these Doctor Who nods, and of course it is Neil Gaiman who wrote season 2. So there's that. Yeah, making your own IP is a different work, but you have to be. I think you have to be someone who's very confident in going, okay, I can do this. Yes, he is. Neil is awesome. I actually have a few of Neil's books. Let's see here. I actually put them in a collection. Let's see here. Fantasy for HIJKLM. There we go. So for Neil Gaiman books, I have the Graveyard book, which is a full cast presentation. I have the first two Sandman audiobooks. I have Good Omens. So those are the four I have right now. Um, but yeah, like, I enjoy my audiobooks, and they're fun. Like if I could, yeah, Neverwhere. That's a really good one. I think I watched that one. Um, I highly recommend the audiobook for Project Hail Mary, because that you get a much more fuller. Excuse me, it's one of those days. You get a fuller story. You get sound effects that go with the story, and it's fun. I like Andy Weir as well. He's a great director, writer, and I can't wait to see what they do for Patrick Hail Mary as a film. And I think Ryan Gosling is supposed to be in that. Neverwhere is let's see here. I don't want that. There we go. Neverwhere. Which, by the way, it's on sale for 16.09. The audiobook of Neverwhere on Audible. And here is the summary. And by the way, this was the first novel featuring this new Neverwhere tale, how the Marquis got his coat back. Anyways, Richard Mayhew is a young man with a good heart and an ordinary life, which is changed forever when he stops to help a girl he finds bleeding on a London sidewalk. His small act of kindness propels him into a world he never dreamed existed. There are people who fall through the cracks, and Richard has become one of them. And he must learn to survive in this city of shadows and darkness, monsters and saints, murderers and angels, if he is ever to return to the London he knew. It's a good story. It really is. Yes. And I'm very interested in seeing them bring back David Tennant as the 14th Doctor and seeing how that works and how that plays out. So I'm excited for that. Which, by the way, also on YouTube, I saw a video of a projectionist a guy who calls himself Radioactive Dave. He's also a projectionist, and he showed what it was like to be a projectionist for Oppenheimer in IMAX, 70 millimeter presentation of it, and to take that um, film out of the box, which is huge. It takes about 4 people to take this thing out of a box, and normally movies are shipped in separate containers. This is all in one container. It's all on one spool. It takes 4 people to pick that sucker up and put it onto the machine and set it up. And he shows what it's like to remove the bulb from the projector and replace it with a new one. And he said normally they give you like a um, safety glasses and possibly like a face mask and some you know flak to wear or whatever they call it, because it has something in it that it would explode if taken out the wrong way. But it's really interesting watching that, and really interested of him discussing it. And speaking of Oppenheimer, don't forget tomorrow on the Burnett, not tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow on the Network and Positive Fandom, there is a PGS moving image about Oppenheimer, and it's going to be a great discussion with RM and Cameron Pasha, and I believe Catherine Cook. Because that's a movie that RM can talk about all day, as well as Cameron Pasha. So yeah, very good times. Um, I watched that latest episode of Star Trek, um, Strange New Worlds, the musical episode. I enjoyed it. I liked the different genres they brought in. What I didn't like was them having the Klingons do dubstep, which was very much embarrassing. And on cringe, very cringy of watching that. But everything else was great. Uh, there's at one point which sounds like something out of Gilbert and Sullivan. Um, the woman who plays Ahura, Ahura, she has a beautiful, beautiful singing voice, and she she blew me away. I loved her voice. I loved hearing Rebecca Romaine as well uh, do some singing, and it's an okay episode. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's my second favorite. My first favorite would be of this season would be the crossover episode, which I loved because you have Boilermer going, "That's not how Spock is," and pointing out all the flaws of how Strange New Worlds uh, does Spock. And then you see Spock smile, and it is a sadistic smile. It is a freaky smile, but hilarious nonetheless. Hello, Dadman walking 55. Um, let's see what else is going on. So we're about a month away from Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, where I believe they're going to have a flash mob of Megan dolls. That's going to be really cool to see. Um, I believe they're doing for houses Exorcist Believer, Stranger Things season 4. So Vecna will be there. Um, I forgot what the other ones were, but yeah, it absolutely looks like fun. Um, Halloween Horror Nights this year. Uh, I think they're bringing back Chucky. I know they're doing a Stranger Things house. They're doing a Exorcist Believer. So by the time it starts up, I think it'll be up before the new Exorcist movie comes out, which I find really interesting. I want to see how they're going to use Ellen Burstyn, who is in the film, who hasn't been in any of the Exorcist films since the first one. And it always amazes me when they do a sequel to a film and you bring back characters who haven't been in such a franchise for a long time. And the question that always piques my interest is how do they get her back? What did they do to ask her to come back, you know? So hopefully we find out about that. Yeah, but the way Spock smiles, it was creepy. It was funny, but it creeped me out. But I like that the Jack Quaid character, Boilermer. Um, everything he complained about, I swear, I think they're trolling Rob with that character. I think that they're using that character to say all the things about what's wrong with Star Trek, but they're using that character and pretend like almost as if it's Rob. So yeah. Well, folks, I'm cutting this down to an hour today. Um, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank RM. I want to thank Irene Jobson and Darth Plato and Dunman Walking, 55, and all of you watching. I want to once again, thank Ray Lytle of Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster, who has been very kind to me. And just check out morningdisaster.net. Check out his show. Ray's a cool guy. It's a very funny show. He's a good man. And I think that's all I can think of saying right now. I just want to thank you all for watching. And until next time, as always, folks, we are all Goof people, and bye bye for now.